Welcome
Welcome
to Shade
to
in the
Shade in the
City.
City.
I'm Treese, as you guys know,
Else.
and we are going to jump in to your favorite 90 Day Fiance. So yes, I actually don't even remember the previews from last Sunday. So yeah, I don't even know what to preface this, but let's get into it, y'all. Make sure you hit the like button
And the subscribe button.
and let's get into it and let's get shady.
We are starting off with Ari and Benny. It looks like they're getting ready for their day so that they can hop on their flight later this evening. It's so cute. Benny and Avi are matching. They got like matching.
Yeah, I
tops
saw
on.
that too. I said that is super
I
adorable.
was like, this is their airport outfits. What are they doing? It was so cute. Benny says that he's stressed because of what happened the night before. And his sister is blaming Ari for him not telling them. And he feels like he made a huge mistake. So,
Really?
actually seems unbothered. She asked, their nanny to braid her hair. She's sitting there, she's just like, she really doesn't seem like she really gives a damn.
Yeah, Ari expresses that she has tried. Okay.
And she's probably just like, we going to the US today. I ain't got to see these motherfuckers.
She's like, I'm not about this no more. I've tried to establish a relationship and they just don't want it. Benny lets us know this is not the first time her and Wish done got the fight.
Yeah. So he tells Ari, that he's going to lunch to meet up with them so that, they can say their goodbyes and I guess say goodbye to Avi and asks, does she want to go? And of course, Ari declines. She's like, mm-mm. And he's like,
he's like, they don't want me that way. I'm good.
Yeah, he's like that he understands why she's upset and doesn't want to come. She's like, I'm not upset. And she's basically like, that she has tried consistently to be family with his sisters and they've never treated her well. So she's like, she doesn't want to have anything to do with them and she is moving on. She says she has a clear conscience because she's done everything that she could and she's over it. Benny, of course, still wants her to go and he's a little bit upset, but clearly you have to understand. I mean, she got a whole glass of red wine thrown in her face. So Ari's just like, well, we're going to the US. I don't give a fuck. I don't got to deal with this.
Right.
No more. So then we are in Kobe and Emily's hotel room. And for some reason, I feel like we are violating their privacy because he's walking around in his little whitey tighties with a cup of coffee. Like, can we not wait till this man put some clothes on?
Right. Can we give them are you decent?
Right.
Walk in the room.
Shorts, some something. I saw him in the kitchen. I was like, yeah, like.
But apparently the night was everything that they hoped it would be. And I don't need to get into the details because, of course, TLC had to give us details. Yeah. But apparently everything still works like it did in China.
Everything was rekindled.
They didn't have no problems with dad bods. They just moved.
She said besides the snoring, everything was perfect. She even told us how many times they did it. But they for some old motherfuckers, for some mom and dads, they got it in for one night and morning. Okay.
And Kobe said that he actually can appreciate it and he was happy that they did take that time to themselves. So,
but now he's ready to get up, get dressed, and
so he can go see Kobe.
He is excited. He's super excited. He's concerned though that her family isn't going to accept him. Valid concern. And she's concerned as well, but really it's because of a lot of the bad choices that she's made. And, they don't really trust her judgments.
Right.
It's really why, she's concerned. But she's like, they basically have to give you a chance because you're my son's father. Like, They kind of don't have a
I
choice.
love when he said, "What if my son doesn't accept me?"
Yes.
Yo, I was like, that is so, like, I literally, y'all, I was here tearing up. I was like, okay, TLC, really? We only 5 minutes in,
This
but
scene was a
okay.
lot. This scene was a lot. So they pull up to the house and he is super emotional. He is overwhelmed with
Right.
emotions. He actually starts like breaking down crying. It seemed like it was anxiousness, but also excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just overwhelmed. And I mean, he had
Right.
real deal
Overwhelmed is a
tears.
great word.
He couldn't even get out the car, y'all, to go see his son because he is so overwhelmed. I just seriously, like I was telling you, I was like, yo, this shit is about to make me cry. I feel like such a pussy. Like this shit is just, oh
No,
my God.
can you only imagine how it feels for him who's waited 2 years to actually meet his son? Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. That TLC knew what they was doing.
And then it was super cute. He gets out the car and there's like a whole banner that says, "Welcome home, Kobe," with a picture of his son. Then at the front door, there's a banner full of pictures of Kobe. I thought it was very thoughtful, and very sweet. The if I don't know if like, the family did that or what, but I thought it was super thoughtful. I thought it was, especially for someone who thinks that, there's a possibility he won't be accepted. I thought that was super
right.
nice.
I'm just mad that they cut it off and we don't get to see him meet Copen.
To the next damn scene, I know.
Right.
Oh shit.
Right. We have a new cast member, y'all. TLC. Let's have a conversation. Come here. Now, what I'm gonna need y'all to do is get everybody on at the same time so we are not sitting here on episode 20 waiting for the season to end, okay? Because you did that last time. So why don't we just try to get everybody in at the same first 2 episodes, okay? First 2 episodes. Let's just make a deal.
They're trying to keep you on your toes, Trees. They're trying to keep you on your toes.
Okay. We meet Patrick. He is 31 from Austin, Texas. As I told Nails off camera, I've never been to Austin. I've been to many places in Texas. And let me tell you something. Everybody says you need to go to Austin. It's a popping spot. So I'm actually very surprised that he had to go outside of Austin to meet somebody. We learned he's a gym head, literally. Mm-hmm. I don't like to talk about nobody that we already saw. Big Ed. Y'all know where I'm going with this.
Big Ed has a condition.
Okay, well, our homeboy's condition is he don't know how to stop popping these pills and taking these substances. So, you know the name of the show. Okay. Anyway, so
oh my God.
Our boy has been out here. He admits that he was out here about to be in the Olympics, but he tested positive for, do you got the name of the substance? Because I heard you over there.
Yes. It was HGH hormone, which is banned by all sports. And also a couple years after that, it was Dimethyl. I'm guessing testosterone, which is also a banned substance. But he did, as a weightlifter, end up being like the strongest man in the world. So, I mean, he did have some accomplishments.
800, he squatted 800 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do more than 20, so I ain't even mad at you. So, but I also have a neck. So anyway, we learned that he met his first girlfriend in the gym weightlifting, and apparently she lifted as well. And then that girlfriend later became his wife, which all seemed beautiful until he lost his whole career and everything just kind of fell apart. And
due to these banned substances.
Right. And she wasn't really checking for him anymore. She's like, well, I'm still out here doing my thing. So, we no longer have that in common.
And really, you're not who I met anymore.
Right. So she basically asked for a divorce. She moved out. He has this big ass house, as he says, and no one to share it with. So he asked his older brother, John, to move in with him. Mm-hmm. We then learned that, now I did miss this part, he went to visit somebody in Brazil, somebody that lived over there.
His dad.
Okay.
So apparently his mom and dad got divorced when he was 7. The mom had a bunch of problems. She was bipolar. She was a drug addict.
Drug addiction. Yeah.
And you know, he just tried to separate himself from his family. He separated himself from his family when he started training.
Right.
So he went to go visit his dad in Brazil, who is Brazilian. And I guess he found Thais on a dating app before he went over there. And he was concerned that she wasn't real. Apparently, he saw her in real life and she was a baddie. He was super excited. He said he screamed when he first met her. She showed him all types of affection. He realized that that's what he was missing from his first relationship. And I don't know. She is a baddie though, y'all. She's a baddie. Her name is Thais. She's 25. She's a model and she's from Monte Claros, Brazil. Yes. And they dated for 11 months and he proposed. And she said yes. Let me tell you something, y'all. This man learned how to talk Portuguese for this girl because she hardly speaks any English. Now, during this time, Thais hears a bunch of ruckus and shit going on in the background. She's like, oh my God, what is that? Like, are you having a party? And he's like, no, that's just John, you know, like we have our friends over. And she's like, oh, like, why do we have to live with him? Like, and John,
they're annoyed by him.
Yeah, with his little twisted ass, you can see him with his eyes red and shit. He is drunk. He's like, hey, Thais, hey. And she's just like what? He's like, yeah, I don't understand. He's like, I don't understand Portuguese. So, but she's like, can you just like have him leave? Like, what the fuck? Like, she's clearly annoyed by him. She does not like John, okay? They had a little back and forth and she's just like, this is going to be my house. Like, you're partying. And John actually seems a little bit concerned. It made me feel some type of way because he's like, you know, yeah, my brother asked me to live here. And, you know, I'm concerned about everybody's ego. We all got egos. And I know blood is thicker than water, right? Like, I guess we'll see. Like,
right,
how true that is. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a bit concerning. It's a bit concerning. Then we move on to Jabri and Miona.
They're starting to become my favorite.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what.
She's growing.
She
actually,
I can see Miona. No. Miona's cool. I'm fine with Miona. For me, Jabri,
Miona's actually growing on me, but I didn't like Miona at first. Jabri, I just thought was, you know, weird. But
I didn't have a problem with Miona, really. For me, it's Jabri. First of all, what you're not about to do is be waking up in the morning and blowing your breath in my face for a smell test. What you need to do, if you want me to do a smell test, let's do it after you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
The fuck? She's like, no, it's fine. It smells normal, which to me gives that it probably stinks because it probably normally stinks. Just don't be blowing your breath in my face early in the morning. That shit is just ugh. I wouldn't give a damn.
We see Miona ask about Chanel's favorite time of the day, breakfast. They wake up together. They're all happy and elated. And he's just, you know, happy to finally be next to her. So she's like, what are you making me? And he's like, oh, well, would you like some fruit? And she's like, that's it. See, now, Treese would have said, oh, that's cool. Just bring me back some cut up fruit, you know, like a little fruit bowl, fruit cup. Let you try to do that with this one. It might get you cursed out. So he's like,
okay. I would have been like on the side of my food. Like, I like a fruit bowl too.
So he asked her, he's like, well, what about if I could bring you some yogurt and granola? And she's like, okay, that's cool. You know, we can do that. That still wouldn't have been enough for her. But anyway, so he lets us know that he tells us in the confessional that she has never lived away from home. She's always lived with her parents. So she's pretty much comfortable. And he wants to make sure, you know, being in a new country, he doesn't just throw her out there to the wind and she don't really.
Yeah, he said like her mom did everything for her. Like she's never had to do laundry, cook, clean, no nothing. Like, is that how they do in other countries?
Yeah, that's what it gives. Yes.
Because I need to come back as somebody's child in another country. Because this is not how we are brought up in the US. Okay. We get chores at an early age. You said what?
My mama's was Americanized. He asked her, when are you going to start unpacking? And she's like, well, I wasn't really planning on unpacking everything. And he's like, well, you need to. And I will say this, I feel like we see him putting his foot down a little bit more.
Well, because she's there.
She's there. Because before on that phone, he was shook. But now that he got her there, he's like, okay, look, this is what's really going to happen. And she really ain't got no choice but to listen. It's a damn shame. But
I like how she asked him though, because she was like, you keep on, pushing staying here on me, even though no, I don't want to stay here.
That's why I think that's why I started to like her.
She was like, are you just not concerned? You don't care what I want?
In a like normal conversation type of way. It didn't have to be an argument. It was just like, no, nigga, like you're really trying to play me. Like I told you, I don't want to be here, and you keep.
Yeah, and she was just like, so are you just not concerned about like what I want? I did like that. And he's like, no, it's not that. It's that, we have taken some major trips. We have a wedding to plan for that you want. That's going to be super expensive. Like we have some shit to save up for. So we can't just be out here, don't have the money or the means and don't want to jump into some shit.
I love that he said that, but then she also comebacks with, well, he's like, we need to get your makeup line off the ground. I need to get my career on his feet. And she's like, well, do you think Rapid City is really the place to do that? And I was like, come through, Miona.
Yeah, but then he had a rebuttal for that.
He said the internet, anything can get started anywhere. And he's right. So got to give him that. But then after that, I loved it. It was so cute. He's like, oh, you frustrate me, but you're so sexy. And I was like, that's kind of cute. That was kind of cute for me. That would have, yeah. They go out shopping to go cook for his parents because, he lets her know that my mom is very serious about us making meals. And this is another reason why she feels like they need to be on their own. But like I said, right now, I'm here for Miona's attitude. Like she's being a trooper. She's like, okay, I'm not going to start no shit the first day. I ain't going to get fed up yet. I'm going to try. And I can appreciate it. They go through the grocery store. They looking at, she's trying to figure out why that fruit looks so different, why it looked like it got wax on it. She's intrigued by string cheese. I've never been out of the country, Shade Squad. So Nell says the food is much different, or grocery stores are much different in other countries. So maybe y'all can break it down for me in the comments.
I was even shocked when I went to Rome that the eggs were not like refrigerated. Like they're out. Like they're not in a refrigerator. Yeah. I don't know. It is different. I know the food definitely tastes better. Not like at restaurants. Okay. Like in Rome specifically. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't know how many people from Rome are watching this. But as far as freshness, the food is impeccable.
Yeah. Well, that's probably because it's farm to table. That'd be my type of food anyway. But no, so yeah, no. And then she sees some corn dogs that she think would be a hot move. She's like, I never had these, but these look good. And mind you, they're in the frozen section at this point. They have
she's like, I've never seen like pre-made food, like all these frozen foods. She is like this. She's like, it's so much different in Serbia. Like
they ain't got no ready-made meals in Serbia.
And he's like, yeah, we're not gonna give my parents corn dogs.
But they do decide on a frozen chicken Alfredo, which let's just hope
like the Bertolli kind or some shit like that. I don't know what brand it was, but I know that that's a brand.
I hope they know they have to season it and they can't just throw it in the pot.
Kara and Guillermo, they just landed in the US and they're headed to the house. And Guillermo is in amazement. It's actually pretty funny. He is amazed at all the houses and cars, and he's got just a little taste of America. He said, look, I'm American now. I'm American. I'm American. I I thought it was super duper cute. Then we see them the next morning. Apparently TLC likes to get the next morning when they're in bed after they done did the do.
Right.
They like this shot for some reason, but they're waking up and Guillermo says, it feels so beautiful to be in such a good space with her and waking up their first day in America. He also says that where he was living in DR, they didn't have hot water. So he took a 30-minute shower and loved it. He is in love with the hot water that we have over here. I don't know. It's just super duper cute. So he's unpacking and, she's trying to make space for him in her drawers. And, he mentions that he wants to get a computer. Kara is really not here for that conversation. She basically tells him she doesn't really see a need for him to get a computer because he didn't even really use the one he had in the DR. She was like, so let's start with a toothbrush. Like, how about that? Like, start with some small shit.
It was kind of like belittling, though. Let's start with the toothbrush.
Oh, you mean with that?
Right.
Oh, okay. Not everything that she said.
No, not everything she's saying, but that was a little belittling. Like,
I think in her defense, I feel like she was just saying, like, let's start with something small.
Right.
We have things that are like priority versus, some major expensive shit that you want. She says that, they have about $6,000 saved, and she doesn't think it's a good idea to spend $1,000 on a laptop. For one, because he can't work. Okay. And for two, she's basically saying that, she budgets things and he hasn't lived a very rigid financial lifestyle. And, her money is his money, but like shit comes up, which is 100% true. I mean, you can be budgeting for shit, but shit does happen. Shit comes up and you need to have money for those expenses. And he feels some type of way because he's like, well, I sold my things in DR, what about my bike? I sold my bike. Let's use the money from that. That's my money. And she's like, okay, it's our money. And he's like, okay, yeah. But, I sold my shit. Like, it's my money too. So she feels like it's a sixth of their budget. Okay, their budget. And it's just not a good idea. She's like, it's day 2. And let's not talk about spending a fucking $1,000 out of the money that we have saved on day 2. Like, let's do this in a timely fashion, which makes sense to me. Maybe
it does make sense. It's just, I can understand where he's coming from. I'm going to be sitting at home all day.
But if you had a computer in DR, why he didn't bring it?
I can't. I was trying to feel.
If your computer is so important to you, or you having a computer is so important to you, why didn't you bring the one that you hardly use that was in DR? So now you want to spend money while you're here, can't even work, $1,000 on a fucking computer, and from history shows that you have not used a computer really. So
I was trying to defend it. Sorry, Guillermo.
Well, really, so after this, he feels like, she's trying to control him. He feels like a little kid, like she's treating him like a little kid. And he's like, that's not she's not my mom. Like, she's.
And we already know this is a thing for him because she already joked about how she's older and she's the sugar when he's a sugar baby. And so I think that also gets up under his skin because it's like, now you really treat me like this is what the fuck I am.
But technically that's what you are right now. You're living in this house rent free and you can't work. You're technically destitute. I mean, what are you? So really, if that's how I'm treating you, that's because that's what you are right now. Now, when you can work and you can save up money, I don't know. I would just be like, okay, how about this? We take maybe $500 out of this money, put it to the side. Okay. And when you start working, you can add to it to get your laptop. Or we can just pay to get your shit mailed.
That part.
$100, $200. Done, data. But she basically says, she doesn't want to focus on this shit because it's super stressful for day 2. And she's like, let's ixnay on this conversation, nay. Fuck out of here with this shit.
We see Shy and Bilal. And mama and sister, Nefertari, and brother, I believe his name was Rashid, but please correct me if I'm wrong. They are on their way, or it might have been Rashad. Y'all, don't get to quote me. It was an R.
I didn't even attempt to get the names.
Oh, okay.
I just know Nefertari.
So, so they come over to meet her. And she lets us know that she's still disturbed by the prank. And he's like, you weren't even in there for 24 hours. Like, you're really doing the most. And to see what she came into, I can kind of understand why he's like, really? Like, really?
So I get that, but after she explained what she explained, it gave her the impression that he was not even able to take care of her and he was in the struggle. And it was like, why would you bring me from Trinidad here to struggle with you?
Okay.
That's totally different.
Okay.
So it represented him struggling. So
we can see that Shy is like super nervous. I thought it was super cute. They catch her like as the mother and the sister and the brother walk in and they're greeting Bilal and she's like, do I put my hand here?
Right. Yeah. She's like,
how do I? And it was so funny because they're like, where is she? And she's trying to get her position together.
Fixing the bowls and everything. Right. Like,
it was actually really cute. It was actually really, really cute. Once, she lets us know she's super nervous because in Trinidad, he's what they would call a blue-eyed
baby, which
basically means you're your mom's favorite. So she was just kind of like, I know that's his mother's like pride and joy. And of course I want her to like me. So the mother seems to really like her, embraces her. They're giving each other, exchanging compliments. I thought it was super cute.
Good job, Shy. She complimented her on her swag. She was like, oh,
right. She's like, look at the earrings. Like, I'm here for it. I was like, okay, Shy. And everything seems to really be going well. They embrace her with big hugs. Mom tells us in the confessional, she feels like after talking to her, she feels like she has a very kind heart and, basically a kind spirit. She does realize that there are things that they're going to have to work on because she's only been there for a day. And they've been separated for 2 years. So Nefertari asked Bilal about bringing Shy to their old home. And at the dinner.
She get right into the shit.
I don't know why this is dinner table conversation, but hey.
Because she's been waiting. Everybody's been waiting to find out what happened.
Everybody collectively at the table knows about the prank. Everybody was in on it, helped on it. So Shy tries to tread lightly. I could tell she was trying to be respectful and was like, well, it was a surprise. But she was like, it just reminded me of older times.
Like my grandmother's home.
Right. Bilal's mom is like, you ungrateful, but that's the look on her face. However, Bilal, this is and I told Nels, I didn't like this. And drop down in the comment, Shade Squad, and let me know what you think. And if you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button.
And the subscribe button.
Right. Now, what I did not like was I didn't agree with Bilal throwing her under the bus and being like, oh yeah, she really didn't like it. He was
like that. She said, you brought me from Trinidad to this.
Right.
Awkward silence.
It was awkward silence. And I said,
and the mom was like, did she really say that?
Right. Right. The mom can't even believe that came out her mouth because she had such a kind spirit. I said, if you want these people to like her, why would you do that? That made no sense. That was almost self-sabotage, Bilal.
It's not like they wasn't going to see it on TV.
Right.
They really wanted to know, yeah. No. I'm not saying, I'm not defending him.
Oh,
I'm saying he didn't need to say it at the table and make it awkward.
Right. Especially the first time meeting her. They could have joked about that later on after they really got to know her and be like, well, you know what she said, what she really said. It's different when you get to know somebody versus when you're just meeting them and they got some fresh shit to say about the house that you paid for, that you raised your kids in, and they don't have shit, a pot to piss in.
So so who owns this house now?
Still his mom, apparently. The mom still owns the house. That's why she was able to get. He said he had to go get the keys to the van and do it. So everybody, his sister came in from out of town. So apparently, it still belongs to the family. Mm-hmm. It's just no one lives in it. I'm surprised he's not renting it out. Being a real
exactly. I was like, he's not doing anything to it to rent it out. So.
But he probably had. I was going to say he probably has to fix it, renovate it a little bit before he can try to get tenants in. So yeah, no. And then they get into a conversation. They ask Shy, Nefertari asked Shy the question, well, what's going on? I know you're 37. You never been
married.
You have no kids. What have you been doing all your life? And she's just like, well, you know, I do want children. I mean, because obviously Nefertari mentions Bilal's children. And she's like, well, I feel comfortable. I'm an aunt. I've taken care of my grandmothers, you know, nieces, nephews, babies, whatever. So I feel pretty comfortable around kids. And I know that I want my own children. Mm-hmm. So she's like, oh, you do? You do? And they look at Bilal, and Bilal's sitting there like,
he said, well, I like children.
Right. He's like, I like children.
However,
he goes into this rant, and I'm not even going to say it's a rant. He had very valid points. At the age that he's approaching, he wants to travel. He wants to live life. And he doesn't necessarily know if he wants a baby back in a bassinet at this point.
But that goes, I mean, and that's a big deal. And that's why you can't be in a serious relationship or engage with someone who wants children if you really don't want children. That's a big issue. That's a huge issue.
That's a huge issue. And, you know, Shy feels like that they can travel and do things and just bring the baby. And some people do that.
Well, it sounds like she said drop off the baby. I thought he said to drop off the babies.
Oh, no, I was under the impression that he was like, there's no way we're just gonna. No, I think she's under the impression they're just going to take the baby with them. And that's why he was like, that's not realistic. He was like, once you have a baby, because like you said, it's about stability. Mm-hmm. Until they get to a certain type of age, let's just be real. For most of babies' lives, you have them in the house for like the first 6 months, for real. Mm-hmm. So if you thought you were popping on a plane, I know people that do it. I wouldn't, but I know people that do it. So,
and the thing is, if you feel like you've raised your children already,
right,
it's your time. It's your time now. Like,
and I think that's what Bilal was feeling. Whereas Shy's like, I haven't had my time, and we see mom comment again, and she goes, you know, that's some stuff they're gonna have to get through and figure out if they're gonna try to be married. And then they talk about Nefertari wants to like talk about setting a date, or you know, and they just say right now we just want to continue to get to know each other to even see if there's going to be a date. And I said, well, I thought y'all was already spiritually married. What happened to that?
So we are back from the grocery store with Jabri and Miona. We find out neither one of these motherfuckers can cook. Jabri has admitted that he's not the best chef. And I mean, Miona was ready to get corn dogs for dinner. So that says that.
Right.
So he says that they got pre-made meals, which we saw. And I thought it was funny because she was talking shit about that string cheese, but she brought that shit back home. Okay. And was ready to take a whole big ass bite into it. And Jabri was like, no. You was about to commit a serious crime, which, I mean, I've seen people do it, but it is kind of weird because it's
string.
To eat it like string. So he, you know, shows her the proper American way to eat string cheese. And she's like, I mean, it's good, but it ain't really got no taste. I agree with you. And then he talks about getting back with the bands, the Black Serbs.
Bands getting back together, y'all.
Miana don't seem too happy.
Here for it.
Because apparently Miona and David they don't really get along. He's skeptical of her. You know, he thinks that, you know, she just is out here for self, you know, trying to get on.
Trying to get her a bag.
Exactly. And she feels like he's super negative when it comes to her, which he is. Because I thought it was cute because she was like, well, when you talk to him, what did he have to say about me? He was like, he wished me luck. He did. Not really. he was like, good luck. I don't think that shit gonna work, but good luck. I mean, you know. But then that Jabri gets into, he was like, well, you know, David doesn't really feel like you were super respectful to him either. He feels like, you know, when you were over there, you know, you were not humble, you were bougie. He took you to his family's restaurant, and because the power went out, you were complaining. And I do know in like certain countries, I've never been to Serbia, but I know in certain countries, sometimes their power does go out. It's a little shaky, and it's like a normal thing for them. So the fact that she was kind of talking shit, I can understand why he was just like, but you think you
From the
better?
same place that I'm from, boo.
Right? Like you think you better. So I mean, I can understand that. And she feels like he really can't judge her because he only met her one time. But first impressions are everything, man. I mean, you know that because you were talking about meeting his parents for the first time. So you would have gotten judged off the first impression. It happens. She really thinks the issue is that David is jealous because he feels like she's taking Jabri away. Now, she's just like, you know what? Fuck this conversation. Let me go make some food. And she forgot that she's making a pre-made bag meal, and she complains about this shit being funky. I mean, it wasn't a plastic bag. I don't really know what to tell you. But you know, Jabri is basically like, you know, he lets her know. I like the fact that he's pretty upfront. And if she asks the question, he does give her an honest answer.
Yeah.
He's basically, you know, letting her know, you know, I am going to be spending a lot more time with him because we got to finish this album. And this album is potentially money. So I got to do what we got to do. He basically lets her know, like, you're going to have to figure that shit out, like, between you and him, because my godfather. Apparently they, you know, at church had this whole ceremony where they took a piece of his hair, a piece of David's hair, and he said the priest put it together and did some magic, and he's the godfather. So any children he had, he was
to take care of each other's kids. I said, whoo.
And she was not here for it. She basically gave him an ultimatum. It was really giving me or him. And he didn't say to her, he said to us, but he basically said, you're gonna have to get over it because that's basically my best friend and my brother. Like, he's family. And so we are out to lunch with Benny and his family. He is meeting up with them before, you know, he leaves for the US. Everybody wants to say goodbye. We actually even meet his brother. Don't kill me. I didn't get his brother's name because
I didn't either.
That's the type of person I am. I love y'all.
You wouldn't have.
I know y'all love me back. But I did think it was super cute that Avi is so familiar with his family, and you know, now he's going to the US, and who knows the next time he'll see them. I don't know. That just kind of,
yeah, it was hard. And you could tell that they were they've already lost one nephew. So I'm sure this is for them.
But
especially because this is the second time, because they thought he probably wasn't coming back after the first time.
Yeah. So, you know, Benny basically says that, you know, he wants peace. And he wants his sister's blessings before he goes to America. He lets them know, you know, after that shit last night, I could not sleep. They don't really want to pick a fight. But lets them know, like, it, you know, it was a lot, you know. And Wish asked where Ari is. Well, you thought she was coming for real. Did you really?
Really?
But he says, you know, she's packing. You know, she's stressed out. She's like, come. Wish acting like she here for round two. Like, bitch, what? Talk your shit.
That's why I was like, why do you keep inviting them to the airport? Do you want her to get her ass whooped before she get on the plane?
So
they clearly believe this is her fault.
He basically says that, you know, he feels like things need to be fixed between the both of them. And I don't remember the other sister's name.
I don't either.
Well, she basically says, don't worry about us fixing things. Like, you worry about yourself and fixing things. And I think the reason why she's saying that is because I think Benny is telling them things that he is clearly not sharing on camera or not sharing with Ari, because they seem to be under the impression that he's told them that, he's not happy. He's not happy in this relationship. So I think they're more concerned about you going to the US, you fixing whatever it is, or, dealing with whatever the fuck you got to deal with. And she's in tears. And really, it touched me because that's his older sister. She basically raised him. So it's like letting your son leave to go to the US and, taking your grandchild. Who the hell knows? You know what I mean? So I'm sure that's got to be super hard. And Wish does say, they're really sad because he's leaving and, they have a strong bond and they've always been there for him, which we have seen. She says that she's rooting for his happiness and to focus on work and his family and seeing his other son. And he says, his first son, when he moved to the US with his ex-wife, it completely broke his family. So he does miss him and he does want to try to, be his first son. He does feel supported by his family and it makes him feel better, that they support him, but he does wish that, his family and Ari can make some peace before they leave. So he does invite them to the airport.
He does. He invited them multiple times. But what I can appreciate, and I feel like he needs to let Ari know this, because if it's that serious, then maybe y'all just can't be together anyway. Because he made it very clear, Ariella might not give a damn about having a relationship with my family, but it's important to me. Regardless of how fucked up they are.
Patrick and John are in Austin and they're headed out for a drink because they've been working like crazy.
He's a door-to-door salesman, y'all. He sells security
systems, and apparently his brother installs them. I didn't know that this was like
tag team.
No, I didn't know that this was like a lucrative business.
Oh yes, girl.
Because he says, it was always work Brazil. And he said, that he had a ton of success doing this. But he would go to, he's been to Brazil 14 times. I think he is the most dedicated person that I've seen on this show. Okay. He learned Portuguese for her. He's been 14 times. I've never seen nobody on the show that's been 14 times to go visit whomever they were dating. And he says when he goes for 2 weeks at a time. So he's missing out on $1,000 a day, which is a big hit. I had no idea door-to-door sales for security systems was booming like this. I thought when people want security systems, they just like call somebody up and be like, hey,
ADT,
come install my shit.
Right.
I didn't like, what? But we also find out that she's jealous, which I'm not surprised.
It was giving very Jasmine vibes from
last. It was, and they are both giving, I hate to say it, but it's a stereotype for Latinas. And they both are. Don't shoot me, y'all. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? But it is a stereotype, But two of them so far have proven it to be so, okay? And the brother gets some random bar patron involved, and she's like,
in the conversation, it's like, would you let somebody track you?
She's like, no, like, I think it's kind of weird, but sometimes you do need to go to that extreme. So she's up here listening to the conversation and, he's like, I just do it to avoid problems. Sometimes I even, show her the app with the security camera, letting her see, like, ain't nobody comes to the house. I just want her to know, like, I'm home sleeping when you think I'm out in a club, like, just to alleviate problems. And she's like, oh my God, I think that's so sweet. And the brother's like, what? And she's like, do you have a girlfriend? He's like, no. She's like, okay, well then shut up. Boy. But he's hoping that when she comes, because he said he gets it, that she's in another country. She has no idea what he's doing. She's super far away. And he's hoping that when she comes, this will all change. Brother don't think so. No. He says that he says that he really doesn't like the jealousy, but he understands. But if it continues after she gets here, it's going to be a problem. I doubt it, homie, because you are missing out on $1,000 a day to go there for 2 weeks. You learn Portuguese for this girl, and you've been there 14 times. Guess what? You are invested, homeboy. So guess,
Yeah, I was
she
gonna
ain't
say
even she ain't even start her classes to learn English. So I doubt it.
we see Jabri and Miona. They set up dinner for his parents. And then his parents walk in and Miona sitting there all kind of with a very pleased smile on her face, like she had done something. So Mahala sits down and says the meal looks very interesting. And then as they start to get into it, she said she starts to taste it and she suggests that her husband give it a try. They come back and she says that what's the name? Miona asks her, is it terrible? And she says, it's edible. Well, damn. I
think that was a great choice of words.
Right. Mm-hmm. They say in the confessional that the food was terrible. Her husband says that it was awful and that the chicken tastes like rubber. And then they proceed to try to put some hot sauce on it to make it better. Now, as I was telling Nels, I didn't see not a lick of salt. I literally think they poured it out the bag and put it in the pan.
My question is, did they try it before they plated it? Well, you know what? I don't know, because they were eating it like there was nothing wrong with it. So,
yeah.
The mom, I guess, decided to stop being so nice and just comes out and says the chicken is rubbery. Like it's nasty. And Jabri he's clearly irritated. He's
right.
Like,
he's like,
you don't have to eat it.
Effort.
Exactly.
He's never cooked for her parents before. This is such a cultural difference. And you're over here joking about how the food is nasty and, runs. And it's so funny because I think his feelings were hurt more than Miona's.
Yeah, actually, Miona said that she didn't like make it so that they wouldn't like it. But she's like, well, at least now she knows what to expect.
Right.
When she makes dinner. But the dad said that they did, respect the fact that they did try.
Yeah.
And he's still in his feelings. He's like, do you? And, he feels that if his mom continues to go down this path, it'll push him and Miona away. So I guess that's possibly why he was so upset, because it's his mom,
Well, not even that. He keeps trying to push this narrative that they're going to stay there when really he don't even want to stay there. And all it's going to do is make Miona want to get out faster, and he can't even defend his own mother because he doesn't appreciate the behavior. So
we are back with Emily and Kobe.
I almost forgot about them, y'all. They went away for them for so long.
Right. And he walks in the door to meet Coben. He says he has waited forever for this moment. He's waited 17 months and he is just super excited. So Coben is sitting on his grandparents' lap. They get up. He is super excited to see them both, but he's still a little scared to go to his dad. He is worried about the boobs, y'all. He is trying to get to the boobs. Okay. And Emily whips that thing out, put it in his mouth, and he's golden. And I think it's so cute because he's just like, it's a beautiful moment. He can't get over how cute Coben is. And everybody's like, well, he looked like you. He looked like you. So you so vain. And he says that he understands that, Coben is shying away from him, and he has so much to do to, play catch up because he's been out of his life.
For me, it was the tears for me.
Yeah,
This man broke down at the sight of his son. Has not even him. It's not just seeing him and being in his presence made him lose it. And I was just like, oh my God.
The dad even said that it was super touching to see him, break down in tears. But he still said, he's going to be super observant to his behavior towards them. and his grandson. And really, it just seems like it's just all so surreal to Kobe. He's just it feels like a dream to him.
Right.
So Benny and Ari are headed to the airport with like tens and thousands of bags. I mean, like literally, it seems like the only thing they did bring was their furniture. So she says that she expected that when this day came, they would be super excited, but she knows Benny is still upset, you know, after what happened last night.
Can I just say, I'm just gonna say this, and this might be the unpopular opinion. At what point, Ariella is not perfect, and I can say that. I can honestly say that. But at what point, because I feel like the viewers are going to run to attack Ariella, and I just feel as if there's one side that never wants to take accountability, never thinks that they're wrong about anything, and they can say and do what the fuck they want to this little white girl, and that's okay. And when she finally sticks up for herself, then she gets a drink thrown in her face, and that's supposed to be okay. I'm just saying, like,
I don't know. Not there. We're not there yet, but I think I know what you're talking about. But the issue is that's not her. That's the son. That's both of their son and their nephew. So you getting a drink in your face has nothing to do with Avi. If you didn't want to retaliate or you didn't want to deal with that issue when it came, that's your issue. That has nothing to do with this being the last time they're going to see their nephew for a few months. Whatever issue you got with them ain't got shit to do with Avi. And that's why the viewers are going to get in her ass. Now,
maybe so, maybe not. I think they're just out of line. I would just like wish to be like, you know what? I've been fucked up to her and I can understand, but she can't. Just the fact that
she doesn't give a fuck. She knows she doesn't care. But who needs to take accountability for most of that and why she feels the way she does is her brother.
I agree.
Like I said, he has been going back telling them things that they're not showing on camera because they said that he came to them and told them that he's not happy. So what it makes it seem like is my brother is trapped. My brother is in a relationship he doesn't want to be in. He's not happy.
He doesn't want to lose his son.
You are making him go to the US in order to be with his son. That is how it looks to them. Now, how would that look to anybody that is a sister or a mother?
Understandable, I guess.
You are forcing my brother against his will in order to be with his son. And he lost his first son already. I can't be upset with them for how they feel with the information they're given.
Okay. So we can admit that Benny is the prime result of this.
Ready. This is his fault.
Okay.
Best communicator. And clearly he waited till the last minute, the day before they were about to leave, to tell his sisters. That says it all. Regardless, she knows that it's super important for him to, to him that she gets along with his family. So he's still, he's still upset, but he does let them know. He does let Ari know that his family is going to come to the airport to say their goodbyes. And, either you say goodbye or you don't, but, they coming. When they get there, Mimi and Wish get there. And apparently nobody wants to go near Ari. But that is where Avi is. That is where Benny is. And Ari decides to get in the van with Avi to give them their space. And the way it made it seem was because she was like, this is stupid. And it made it seem like production may have told her to separate herself from Benny so that they can have their own separate space. So she may have been upset about that. Which if you didn't want to be around them, I don't see why it was a big deal for you to get in the van anyway, because you didn't even want to go to lunch. So clearly you don't want to be around them. So I don't understand why she would have got upset about that. So they, have their own separate little space, and it's super cute because the nieces and nephews are sad that he's leaving. They're crying, and you can tell that they have a super close connection. Then they want to say goodbye to Avi. And we know Avi is in the car with Ari. And Benny goes to the car to get Avi out. And she's like, no. He's asleep. It's too cold. Now, this is my issue. This is the last time they're going to see this little boy in months, or who knows? It could be a year, 2 years. Who knows? Right? Because I know those flights are not cheap. He can't travel by himself. Okay? Those flights are not cheap. And you are reacting off of what they did to you. And I get that you're upset. I understand that you're upset. But that's your issue with them. That has nothing to do with Avi. And regardless, you are going to take Avi out of this van, sleep, and in the cold to take him into the airport. Because that's what the fuck y'all are. Y'all are outside of the airport. You're going to do it any fucking way. Fact. So Benny goes back to his sisters and says, he's asleep. And of course, the sisters are fucking floored that she's acting this way. And, they actually get super emotional about it. They start crying because they clearly have a super close connection with Avi as well. And Mimi even calls Ari evil. And I do feel like what she did right then and there was evil. That was fucked up. And Wish tells him, look, if you have problems over there, we can pay for your ticket to bring your ass right back to this country. You don't have to suffer. And they feel this way because of what the fuck he's been telling them. Right. Okay. Now, whether it's true or not, we don't know. I would think that he can be open and honest with his sister. So maybe that is how he felt, or maybe how he felt at the time. But this is why you don't tell your business to everybody, because when you get over some shit, they are still that's still their reality with y'all. Right. They're still going to feel that way. So, Mimi is super emotional because I think she was kind of like the mother hen, explaining that both of their parents died really early, and they didn't have anybody in their life. So, they basically raised him. They raised each other. She feels like Benny is really naive, patient, and she gets sad about the things that happens to him and feels like, he doesn't deserve half this shit. And they feel like he's stuck. He's stuck in this situation because, like I said, if he doesn't go, that's another child that he's losing going to the U.S. because Ari was not here for his shenanigans. And of course, after his family leaves, Ari gets out the van, like I said, with Avi in the cold and asleep. He actually wakes up because it's cold and he was asleep. Why she couldn't do this 10 minutes prior? It's because she was being a bitch. But she did. She got out the car, took him into the airport, and Benny is super emotional, saying, that he's going to miss his family, he's going to miss his culture. But he is willing to fight for his family in the U.S. and willing to fight for his relationship. And I'm sure because he doesn't want to go through the same shit. All right, y'all. I guess we'll see. Thank you guys for tuning into another review of 90 Day Fiance. Please make sure that if you have not already, that you hit the like button. You leave a comment. And you subscribe. And hit the notification bell. And please make sure you are following us on all platforms, because we just getting a lot of love on the Reels and the Instagram, and we need to get our Twitter game up. But I would appreciate the follows. So yes, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you next Sunday, where we just see the couples settling in, and it's gonna be what it is. It's the usual 90 Day Fiance foolishness. I think when we come back, everybody will be in the US, right? Right, at this point. So at least they caught up, Thais and Patrick, this new couple. But thank you guys. We'll catch you later. Have a good night. Mwah. Good night. Front, back, side to side.
Make sure you go like and subscribe. Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Hey!